Namah Shivaya. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's topic is You Are Divinity. Beautiful subject, the message of Shiva Sutra. Message of Shiva Sutra is You Are Divinity. Let us enter into the Sutra and see what Shiva wants to tell us today. With utmost devotion, center on the two junctions of breath, know the knower. Beautiful sutra. Sometimes I try to avoid the Sanskrit. I just straight away give the English translation and enter into the sutra. With utmost devotion, center on the two junctions of breath, know the knower, is the translation of 8th sutra. Today we are working on the 8th sutra. Beautiful sutra. Yesterday, Shiva was giving us a technique to work on breath through intellect. People who are intellectual, who are very scientific, logical, for them, yesterday's sutra is a technique. They can understand, work on that. People who are more emotional, who are heart-oriented, who are centered on the heart center, who doesn't care much about logical thinking, for them he is giving technique today. Tomorrow he is working on the deeper level beings, who are people who are being oriented, who are neither intellectual nor emotional, who straight away look into the things, more intuitive. For them he is giving technique tomorrow. The next sutra gives a technique, beautiful technique, to work in the being level. Now he is giving technique for the people who are heart-oriented, centered on the heart. It's a beautiful technique. With utmost devotion, center on the two junctions of breath, know the knower. I think first time the devotion, bhakti, is given as a spiritual technique for transformation. Almost all the literatures related to meditation or Vedanta or the philosophical literatures, they always avoid giving place to devotion. There are some Vedantic statements which goes to the extreme of saying devotion is nothing but fantasies. And there are some books which completely demoralizes the experiences of Meera. Not only that, there are so many Vedantic books which condemns devotion. Shiva is not here to contradict or condemn anybody. He is here to help every type of being towards fulfillment. He is the ultimate master. every type of human being is trying to help from where they are. Wherever they are standing, he goes to their level. From there, he is bringing them to ultimate experience. Shiva, I think he knows what is going to happen in the future. That is why 5,000 years ago he has solved the problem with a single sutra. With this one sutra he has solved the whole problem between the head and the heart. He says, with utmost devotion, center on the two junctions of breath, know the knower. He says, through the devotion, you can experience the ultimate enlightenment. Knowing the knower is the ultimate experience according to Vedanta. He says, through utmost devotion, with utmost devotion, center on the two junctions of breath, know the knower. Let's explore this sutra, how beautifully he is connected the Shankara and Ramanuja philosophies, the head and the heart. How beautifully he starts from where people are and leads them to the ultimate experience. Here, Shiva is beautifully synthesizing. Not only synthesizing, he is giving the ultimate respect to devotion. He is giving great respect to the path of devotion. I think first master on the planet Earth, maybe last master, to declare the devotion is one of the ultimate technique to become enlightened. And he gives a straight technology also. People who are in the line of devotion, they miss experiencing the ultimate. They just stop with the form, usually. And the people who are in the line of ultimate experience, they miss the juice in the life. Two extremes. People who are little devotion oriented, they are very juicy guys. They just sing and dance and enjoy. Real juicy people. But the problem, they miss the ultimate experience. They just stop with that. And people who are ultimate, goal-oriented, the enlightenment-oriented, they will be very strong, always sticking to the path. But the big problem is they miss the joy of the life, or the ecstasy, the experience of beautiful devotion. Somehow, nobody was able to connect these two. Fight goes on and on and on. Sometimes it goes to extreme. The other day, one of our devotees was telling me, he was talking to me, Swamiji, after attending the last meditation camp, now I don't feel like meditating on the form is not coming. Only pure energy I am experiencing. Told him, it means really you are blessed by that God or the deity on whom you are meditating. When you meditate on a form, you are meditating on divinity. When you reach the formless energy, you are divinity. You are not meditating on divinity, you are divinity. It's like complementing. It is complementing each other. They are not contradicting. 5,000 years ago, Shiva solved this problem. Not only solved the basic problem, see, not only he is synthesizing, he is helping you, encouraging you to jump into the ultimate from where you are. The beauty of Sanatana Dharma is, not only they accept you as you are, they give you the jumping pad from wherever you are. You can just take a jump into the quantum experience. You can take a quantum jump into the experience wherever you are standing. That is why I tell people, Sanatana Dharma not only accepts all other dharmas, it welcomes. We don't care, we don't bother. We don't care about where you are standing. We always see the possibility from there how you can jump, how we can help you to jump into the ultimate. That is why in Sanatana Dharma we don't have a concept of conversion. We don't believe in conversion. We don't even have the idea about conversion. All you can do, if you go to some enlightened master, all they can do is they will help you to take the ultimate jump from wherever you are. That's all. No question of conversion. We don't believe in conversion. No ritual to convert is available in Sanatana Dharma. People will be shocked. The oldest religion never had any idea about conversion because we feel conversion is psychological violence. Psychologically, we are torturing the person by converting him. See, all conversion happens through fear or greed. It is purely based on fear or greed. Either you give him some benefits or you threaten him that something will be taken away from him. So no conversion is purely spiritual. When it is purely spiritual, there is no need for conversion. The spiritual masters will do this job. The job of giving you a jumping pad to take a quantum jump into conscious experience. Here, Shiva is such a great spiritual master. He is giving you the jumping pad. This is the only book, let me tell you, this is the only book which doesn't have introduction, which doesn't condemn any philosophy. There is no Kandana Mandana. Throughout this book, without Kandana Mandana, I have not read a single Vedantic text. Kandana Mandana means condemning or pulling down the other system. Here, throughout this book, not even in one place, Shiva is condemning any other system. That is why I say, completely he is giving the essence or the pure spiritual truth. This whole book is completely filled with the truth or essence of the spirituality. He is not influenced by any political strategy. He is not influenced by any political system. He is not influenced by any organized religion. He is pure consciousness available to all of us to take quantum jump into that consciousness. Not even one line is condemning some religion or some system or some truth. One more thing, you can't even say, oh, he is not condemning because there was no other sect or religion at that time, Swamiji. We can't say that because he is giving solution for all the problems. He is giving solution means there must have been all the problems existed. Then otherwise why should he give the solution? He is giving solution. See, you read a book about dropping the addiction, be very clear, in that society addiction was there. Addiction was there. When Patanjali says non-stealing, asteya, is a vow, means there were many thieves at that time. Otherwise, what is the reason for Patanjali to say non-stealing is one of the important vrata? Sarvabhaumya vrataha, asteya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, asteya, aparigraha and satya. When he gives this type of vows, we should be very clear, the problem existed. Here, when Shiva gives solution for the problem, we should know problem existed. But he is such a wonderful being. such an amazing expression of enlightenment. Even if Shiva is a concept, I can tell you one thing, even if Shiva is a concept, the person who conceived that idea is unimaginable. It's such a wonderful concept, ultimate concept, even if he is a concept, according to me, even if he is an imagination, the ultimate imagination or the ultimate expression of human consciousness. Somebody asked me, Swamiji, how do you know this book is written by Shiva? I told him, whether it is written by Shiva or not, one thing is sure, such a great truths, if it can come out of somebody, he is surely in Shiva consciousness. No doubt about it. If these great truths can come out of somebody means, he is sure he is in Shiva consciousness. No doubt about it. So whoever has written this book is worthy of being called as Shiva. He is in that state of Shiva. See, in Buddhism, whoever achieves enlightenment, they are called Buddha. It's a state, not a particular name. Same way, Shiva is also a state, not a particular person. Whoever achieves that state, they become Shiva. They become Shiva. So there is no need to confuse ourselves whether it is really written by Shiva or somebody wrote and added the Shiva's name. Who knows? Don't bother from where it is coming. One thing is sure, if such great truths can be explained, expressed, the person who expresses it is already in Shiva consciousness. The very expression shows the experience. He is beautifully, not only is accepting both the group, he is giving jumping pad for every being to take the quantum jump into the ultimate experience. Throughout the Shankara Bhashya, Brahma Sutra, at least 100 sutras are there which goes on condemning all other system. He has taken every system and cornered every system with his logic. And the same way Ramanuja, same way Madhva, any Acharya, but with Shiva, he is not condemning even a single system. I wanted to tell you one more thing. Even tribal religions like piercing the body, torturing yourself, that kind of even primitive tribe religions are also not condemned by him. He uses even those things as a technique to take a quantum jump. In the next further techniques, he discusses even those things. He is not condemning anything. He is collecting, he is like a unabridged dictionary of spiritual technology or spiritual techniques. He has collected all possible methods to take the quantum jump into the ultimate consciousness, into the pure consciousness. He is not concerned about fights. He is not concerned about the differences. He is very simple, beautiful, pure intelligence.